Saha Mangalaya Namaha. Om Stram Strim Strom Saha Ketave Namaha. Namaste everyone. So today's video is going to be about the 5-month-long transit of Mars and Ketu through the sign of Capricorn. And because it's going to be such a long transit, because meanwhile Mars will be also going retrograde, it's actually also going to have quite big impact on us. It's going to have quite big impact on the peace of our mind, on the way we act, the way we feel, and also, the way we do our duties in life, because it's going to happen in the sign of Capricorn. So many different things are going to happen here. And specifically, the combination of Mars and Ketu, astrologers usually don't like it that much because Mars is very fiery and Ketu is explosive, right? So you bring this fiery Mars, explosive Ketu, into the sign of Capricorn, one of the most earthly signs. So this is why, when this transit happened, when Mars actually, just entered the sign of Capricorn almost, we had lots of these volcanoes erupting, right? This is exactly what is actually happening. When you combine, these fiery planets, bring them into the earth element, you have volcano eruption. So this is how nature is reacting to those transits too, because nature is always the first one that is affected, because nature is the most sensitive. But also this is, something that is going to manifest in our internal world. So imagine, if this fiery combination of Mars and Ketu and Capricorn causes volcano eruptions in the outer world, imagine how it will affect your inner world. So this is why, many people don't like this transit that much, because it is true. It is going to be a little bit challenging. It is going to challenge you and test you in many different ways, but actually also it brings amazing opportunities with itself. So we are going to talk in this video about the opportunities and challenges that this transit brings, and also what you can do personally to go in a little bit smoother way for that, So specifically people who have moon in Capricorn are going to experience it very deeply. Also people with Capricorn Lagna, they are also going to experience this transit very deeply, but also people who have moon or Lagna in Magha Nakshatra. Why in Magha Nakshatra? This is because Shravana is actually having Nakshatra aspect on Magha, okay? So specifically when Mars and Ketu will be conjunct tightly together in Shravana Nakshatra in this exact time period, is going to affect Magha natives very, very much. So as you can see here, this is the South Indian chart. That's the sign of Capricorn. And sign of Capricorn is actually zodiacal Muladhara chakra. So it's the zodiacal root chakra, the chakra of our foundations, the chakra of our stability. And because we are bringing here now Mars and Ketu, when they are transiting, Mars and Ketu will bring lots of transformations here, okay? So many transformative experiences can happen. And what will happen during this entire transit of Mars and Ketu? So now we have Ketu here in Nakshatra of Shravana, and here we have Mars, he's still in Uttarashada. So he will move forward through Ketu. At some point he will be tightly conjunct with Ketu, okay? And this is going to be the most, let's say, fiery or explosive time period. And then he will move forward, and he will even go to Dhanishta, but then Mars will start going retrograde. So he will go in retrograde motion. Again he will be conjunct with Ketu for a moment. Again he will pass Ketu. And then once again he will start moving forward. So again he goes here, one last time conjunct with Ketu, and then Mars proceeds finally to his exaltation place in Dhanishta, and by then Ketu will already move slightly back to Uttarashada. So this is more or less what is going to happen during this transit. And this is why, due to so much fire, present right now in our Muladhara chakra, it's actually a very good time for any sort of spiritual practices, but also, for bringing more discipline not only spiritual discipline, but even material discipline into our life, because this is exactly what Muladhara Chakra is about, finding our foundation, our discipline, and also controlling our lower instincts. So because Mars and Ketu, these two very fiery, very transformative planets, because please remember that what is fire element in the first place? It's transformation, it's refining something. And because both of them are now dwelling in this zodiacal Muladhara Chakra, the earthly sign of Capricorn, they would try to, reform or change and transform your foundations. Things which are your foundations in life, literal, things which you consider your stability, your foundation. Because please remember that right now, Saturn, Shanidev, he is in the sign of Sagittarius and he's going retrograde from Purvashada back again to Mula, to the star of roots, to the start of unrooting things. So Shani will try to, also inspire you, to look deeper. What are the roots? What are the causes of certain things happening in your life? What can be changed there potentially, So this specific transit, Mars and Ketu in Capricorn will also try to inspire you to kind of become more aware of the earth element, which is your environment, to be more attentive to what is happening, all around you. Because, this is how you are going to also get the feedback from reality about your own foundations, right? So this is going to be a very important thing during this transit for you to open up a little bit. And one, beautiful example is that, for example, before any volcano eruption, any major earthquake, you can always notice it very easily if you're attentive enough, because like a week before or something like that, the animals would run away from those places because they sense that some danger is coming. And this is something that we need to kind of develop more during this transit, is to listen more to our intuition and specifically not to try to be overly confident. Mars and Ketu combination can make us overly confident too, specifically because Mars is heading towards his exaltation place, so he's very confident now. But really, don't be overly confident. Be humble and enough to listen to the earth, listen to your environment, get the feedback also, and simply listen more to your intuition, go more inside. Don't try to be too much in the outside, because otherwise you will stress yourself out too much, or you will simply miss certain danger which may come into your life. So the major part of this transit will happen in Shravana Nakshatra. Shravana literally means to listen, right? To listen to our environment, to listen to our intuition. And Mars and Ketu transiting through that nakshatra, they may in a way actually make us not listen. Because please remember, Mars and Ketu, two of these fiery planets, they actually usually burn the nakshatra in which they are sitting in. Because fire is burning, fire is exhausting the air element of that nakshatra. Which is why, we really need to work more on listening to ourselves more during this time period. Listening to our environment, Please remember that right across Shravana, we are having Ashlesha, the nakshatra of Nagas. And Nagas, they are always walking with their body very close to earth. The serpents, the snakes. This is why they always sense the vibrations so much. And this is what this transit, Mars and Ketu in Shravana, what is going to be like the best thing you can do really in this time period is to meditate more. Honestly, you will really need that. Not only to sense the vibrations, of your environment more, but also to be more intuitive, about things that are coming. Also to be more humble, okay? So to be more open, to receive the feedback. That's really the important thing here. And also, not to be too stressed out, because please remember, Shravana is the star of the moon, and moon likes his comfort, right? Moon is very dreamy, he loves his meditation, he loves his comfort zone, right? And also this is the nakshatra of Vishnu, the cosmic sustainer. So if you imagine you bring now here Mars and Ketu, two quite explosive planets, they are going to impair a little bit the capacity of this nakshatra of sustaining. Capacity to listen, capacity to feel peaceful and comfortable. Which is why many of us may experience during this time period that we might have loads and loads of work, but at the same time we will be a little bit bereft of our peace of mind actually. So we might fall a little bit too much into this workaholism and just acting in the outside and kind of forgetting to listen, to our inner environment, forgetting to listen to our inner world. And this is something that we really need to consciously work on during this time period. Because please remember, this is very fiery combination, and especially people who already are fiery by temperament, they are going, to experience it to be a little hard for them. They might be a little bit nervous, a little bit irritated, They might even get angry very easily because Ketu and Mars can be very impulsive too. Or they might make some impulsive decisions which are like very, headless, like Ketu, right? Ketu doesn't have a head. So again, this is where meditation will help. Not to make these impulsive decisions, to meditate through things, to contemplate through things, not to act impulsively, and also to try to connect more, because the power of this nakshatra, the power of Shravana, is the power to connect with things. You bring their Mars and Ketu and they literally want to disconnect everything, right? They can be, a little bit too self-focused when they are in this specific combination and kind of, obstruct your peace of mind through that. So this is why really daily meditation is like such a great remedy for this time period. Just to cool your mind down, Also for people who are eating dairy products, like eating milk, yogurt, these things that are cooling you down, or even putting like sandalwood paste on your body just to, again, cool down this inner fire. Or even, the most beautiful remedy during this time period is go and meditate in the moonlight. Go and absorb the cooling rays of the moonlight, because it's really going to help you to cool your mind down during this time period. To cool yourself down. To be more in this peace rather than constantly in stress. So this stress management will become extremely important during this transit. So this transit will be also very much about finding your inner power, inner potential, and also going beyond your fears or beyond your boundaries. And why is that so? Again, who is connected to Shravana Nakshatra? Which exact avatar of Vishnu? That's Vamana avatar, the dwarf avatar, who just expanded himself, right? Who became just very big and covered all the worlds. So one thing that we need to definitely control during this time period is not to have too much of this ambition, right? Not to cover the world completely with ourselves. But at the same time, if this quality is healthy in us, if we are humble enough, we will have more of this ability to expand a little bit more, to expand our energy, expand our aura, and to simply, expand our influence in the world too. But also during this exact transit, we will kind of learn how to move beyond our limitations, beyond our boundaries, by discovering our own inner power, not by getting the power or support from others. Because please remember, Mars and Ketu, they're doing now in Capricorn, which is zodiacal Muladhara chakra, the root chakra. So lots of these fiery transformations are happening there, in the earth element within us. While Saturn, Shani, he's in Swadhisthana chakra. Swadhisthana is the chakra of nourishment, of support, and when Shani enters there, we might actually lack it. We might lack this support from water element, and we might lack some sort of support from others too, which is why in this time period, in this entire 5-month long transit, like one of the most important life lessons for all of us is really to find our own inner power. Depend on yourself. Don't depend on others too much, You can ask others for feedback, but ultimately, it's your life, and these are your decisions. So finding our inner power and inner independence will be very prominent quality for all of us to develop right now. Self-discipline will be also very, very important thing during this transit. Why? Mars is a celibate, right? He's a brahmachari, while Ketu is a yogi. So you have these two planets, coming together, and they want you to be more disciplined because they want you to actually achieve your goals. So they will push you more towards being a little bit more self-disciplined, simply so you can achieve your goals in outer life, right? So also, during this time period, self-discipline is going to be very important because it's going to be your remedy for stress. So all of us might be a little bit more stressed during this time period. All of us can have some tendency towards workaholism. And this is where self-discipline comes really in handy, because self-discipline is not only about, just fulfill your duty, but also to know when to stop fulfilling your duty and simply take a rest. So when it comes to, finding your healthy self-discipline, having like a to-do list or prioritizing things properly are going to be really, really handy in this time period. During this entire transit, one more thing which all of us might really like to remember is that we really need to work consciously to be slightly more tolerant, slightly more patient, and slightly more understanding towards other people. Because actually tolerance really is something that all of us might not have that much during this time period. Because again, it's Mars and Ketu now, moving over the nakshatra of the moon. And moon is like one of the most tolerant planets, let's be honest. He's always flexible, he always adjusts. And it's good, in a way that this transit is happening, because during this entire 5 months, we'll also learn how to find a balance, between being overly tolerant and letting people go literally over our head, and the balance also between, putting our borders where they need to be. So Mars and Ketu there in the sign of Capricorn, they will inspire us, yes, to put our healthy boundaries exactly where they need to be, but don't go into extreme. Remember to also stay tolerant, remember to stay patient, understanding, and try to also not criticize others too much. Mars and Ketu together, it's a very criticizing combination that loves to criticize others, because Mars is also a debater, right? He loves to debate, and Ketu likes to criticize things too. So this is one thing that we need to be really careful, especially in our relationships. So don't criticize others too much, don't even criticize yourself too much. Because the world is so much more beautiful when you simply stop looking just for flaws in it. So this is something towards which all of us will have tendency in this time period. So also if somebody will be criticizing towards you, or not tolerant, or not patient enough towards you, have understanding even for that. Because guess what? This transit doesn't affect only you, it affects everybody. Just in slightly different sphere of life and from slightly different angle, depending on in which place exactly of your own birth chart this transit is happening. So everybody always has a question, how to maintain a peace of mind during this time period, how to go a little bit more smoothly, through this transit. And because Mars and Ketu are mostly afflicting now the nakshatra of Lord Vishnu, which is like really at the very center of the sign of Capricorn, like one of really the best things you can do is simply chant the mantra Om Namo Narayanaya. That's the mantra for Lord Vishnu, and that's the mantra of the divine sustainer, the mantra that reminds you that the divine is present in everybody and that everybody is present in the divine. Because if you actually take, like syllable by syllable, you take this mantra, split it and analyze it, you'll see that it has 2 meanings. One of its deeper hidden meanings is that God is present in everybody, but also everybody is present in the divine, in God. So this mantra is a really good way to bring your mind into peace, into balance during this time period, but at the same time stay grounded and do your duties and perform your duty and your activity in the world. And also for those of you who might be interested in that, soon I'm going to have a little online workshop called Project Mantra, on which we are actually going to discuss about this exact mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, how to chant it properly. And this is like, 40-day long challenge, for you to accept to chant the mantra for consecutive 40 days and simply, to soak the vibration and the power of the mantra. Because honestly, when you are chanting this mantra for 40 days at least without a break, really something changes in you and really something transforms in you. And I can say it from my own experience, because I am chanting this mantra for like 10 or 11 years already, and I know how much it changed in my life. So specifically during this time period, this mantra is just excellent remedy for that. So that was just my really short video about this transit of Ketu and Mars. And I wish, all of you, that this transit will actually bring you lots of opportunities to expand your mental and material borders, let's put it like that, go beyond your fears and realize your true potential. Because Mars and Ketu, you know, is also the combination that can bring real success if you are really self-disciplined, if you know what's your goal, and if you at the same time, you know, keep listening to yourself and follow your intuition. So thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Namaste.